What is going on, guys? It is time for another pop culture conspiracy episode. Today we have an absolutely hilariously fun one that we're going to talk about. So there's a new movie coming out entitled Argyle. It is directed by Matthew Vaughn. It is written by Jason Fuchs, and it's based on a novel by a woman named Ellie Conway. But the conspiracy around this entire movie is that Ellie Conway is not a real person at all, that the woman who wrote the book in which this entire movie is based on is actually none other than right-wing nightmare Taylor Swift.
Right-wing nightmare. That'll be her nickname.
Nightmare to the right wing.
And this is a $200 million blockbuster project. It's a spy thriller. As we're recording this, we actually are planning to watch it tonight and put out a review. So I'll be interested to see what Taylor Swift came up with. Basically, there's no proof that Ellie Conway is a real person. I think it's pretty much confirmed this is a pseudonym, but whoever she is has not come out to confirm or deny the theory, which is debunked.
There is an Instagram for the author Ellie Conway, but there are no photos of Ellie Conway on that page that I saw. It's also curious to point out that Ellie Conway's Instagram profile was created on December 13th, 2022, which is, of course, from what people have told me, Taylor Swift's birthday.
Yeah.
Also, I think the number one reason why this works so well is that Taylor Swift really has created her own type of QAnon fan base that sees her work in everything because she uses Easter eggs, at least from what everyone who loves, I don't listen to her music really, but from everything that I've talked to, because we've had Alex Clark on here, people who love her music, that there's a lot of Easter eggs and there's a lot of callbacks and there's a lot of things like that in all of her work, which would encourage a person with a brain to make connections that may or may not be there.
It's kind of become a part of the culture of the Swiftie fan base to constantly search for Easter eggs and hairpins that Taylor Swift is dropping for them to make all of these connections. And sometimes they take it a little too far.
Yeah.
But I feel like of all of the conspiracies that we've covered on here, this might be the one that's easiest to believe. The only part of it that I question is if Taylor Swift did write this novel, which just came out earlier this month, and it's responsible for this huge movie that's starring Henry Cavill and Dua Lipa, Samuel L. Jackson, all of these stars, Bryce Dallas Howard, and you know, it's going to be this big cultural moment. Why would she not want credit for it? And also, obviously attaching Taylor Swift's name to this project is going to really help it in the box office, as we saw with the performance of the Eras Tour film. Swifties will come out to support and vote with their dollar for anything that their idol is attached to. And the box office predictions for Argyle are not looking good right now.
$20 million opening weekend on a budget of $200 million is insane.
That's not good.
And that is interesting. Okay, so J.K. Rowling writes under a pseudonym named Robert Galbraith, and she's had those novels, those detective novels that she's made into a TV show. It's it's about a character named C.B. Strike, and she writes under that pseudonym, and the TV show is published and uses the pseudonym in the credits. But the thing is, she was already outed as being that person by the time that this was made, and there's no way that a movie would pass up the opportunity to have the box, like the lightning rod that is Taylor Swift, attached to it. They wouldn't want to greenlight a project unless there was the ability to market it on her name.
Unless it's Taylor Swift's express request that she doesn't want to be attached to it. But so that she can see, I guess, how will it perform without my name recognition attached to it. It's really curious because everyone knows that J.K. Rowling is Robert Galbraith. That's public knowledge. But Taylor Swift has used pseudonyms before in songwriting. She went by Nils Soberg or something, like some Nordic name while she was writing for Calvin Harris. And then also when she was with Joe Alwyn, he went by William Bowery when he was writing for her songs under a pseudonym. And obviously the Easter egg thing is part of her cultural fan base. So it sort of makes sense.
There's a picture. So if you guys haven't seen the trailers for this movie, one of the main characters in this film is a cat, and this cat is in an Argyle patterned cat carrier. Well, Taylor Swift does not have an Argyle patterned cat carrier, but she is famously carried around one of her 3 cats in a cat carrier.
So she has 3 cats. One of them is Olivia Benson, who reportedly has a net worth of $97 million.
Must be nice.
The other one is Benjamin Button, who she was just photoed with in her Time cover on her shoulder. And then
Meredith Grey.
Also
she is the
Meredith Grey from Grey's Anatomy. She's like very
millennial.
It's a very millennial trait. And this is a Scottish fold in the movie named Chip. This is not her cat, but they definitely have a similarity in appearance. And it seems like that would be a pretty obvious tell.
When you look up this information, so there were some pages that covered this that said a thread of why Taylor Swift might have written the book for the upcoming movie Argyle is based on. But then in the community notes swooped in and says Argyle director has already stated that Taylor Swift is not the author, but he did say that he took inspiration from her as well as her cat.
Yes.
Because of his daughter.
His daughters are obsessed with Taylor Swift, and the entire reason that he adopted a Scottish fold cat in the first place is because they were obsessed with Olivia Benson, her cat. Now, all that is publicly known about Ellie Conway, the author, is that she was born and raised in upstate New York, and she wrote Agent Argyle while working as a waitress at a late-night diner.
Even that is J.K. Rowling-esque, who
Yeah.
wrote the first Harry Potter book.
What if it's J.K. Rowling?
That would be amazing.
Because that actually makes more sense than the Taylor Swift theory, because obviously if J.K. Rowling's name is attached to Argyle, then there's all of the controversy about transphobia attached to it, and everyone knows that Robert Galbraith is J.K. Rowling, so she has to come up with a different pseudonym if she wants to. Yeah. Oh, that's compelling. Better. I didn't even think of that.
I like that one even more.
Until now.
It was like J.K. Galbraith.
It would be something like that. But no, this is like, we know nothing, literally nothing about Ellie Conway aside from this bio on her Penguin Publishing page. So
very common for writers to have like romanticized cover stories and stuff like this. And yes, it's a late night diner, and she probably worked the normal shift, but for the sake of the romanticism of it, we'll say she worked overnights at a late night diner, and when the place was empty, she wrote chapters on her new upcoming hit Argyle. I love it.
I'm starting to believe this is all J.K. Rowling's mastermind plan. Because if people think it's Taylor Swift, that's a good thing. If they think it's J.K. Rowling, that's a bad thing for the news coverage about it. I guess we're really coming up with the original conspiracy here.
They also point out that she has a history of wearing sweaters with Argyle patterns, Taylor Swift does, and that you can buy Argyle pattern merch from her on her website. Again, one of the things I love about this is that, like, if you want to know what a QAnon person would look like if they were a modern day feminist, it would be
a Swiftie.
It would be a hardcore. We don't want a broad brush, but it would be the most hardcore of the Swifties would be the ones who would be looking at all these clues. And it is a weird type of celebrity pareidolia where you just see something that's not actually there, but you kind of make it out the way people see things in clouds that aren't actually there.
Could be true, though. I mean, it has been supposedly debunked by the director. He said his daughter said,
something they'd want you to
"You
think.
never told me Taylor Swift wrote the book." And I'm looking at her going, "What are you talking about? Taylor Swift wrote the book. She didn't write the book." He quips that he had to convince his daughter otherwise. I was laughing because it's not true. She didn't write the book, but my daughter was convinced of it. But in that same interview, he said, it's definitely not Taylor Swift. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Also, like, I mean, it is fair to point out, where the hell would she find the time?
I think that Taylor Swift is almost superhuman. So if she has time to be writing her music while touring, while going to all of these Chiefs games, while doing interviews, being Time Person of the Year, making a movie, promoting all of these different things, re-recording her albums, she essentially already exists in multiple places at once.
That's because she has a lot of help. Like,
it's definitely possible.
Somebody like her is a machine. It's an entire project where Taylor Swift is one name for many people.
There are thousands of people that make Taylor Swift possible. Yes. However, I would say the idea that she wouldn't have time to write the novel is a little bit hard to believe. I think that she could manage it. Knowing how much of a businesswoman she is.
I wonder if the real Ellie Conway, if it is in fact not Taylor Swift, will be at the premiere, like, incognito. You know?
That would be interesting.
So, I mean, they'll just be like, she'll just be there, and they'll be like, this person was at the premiere, and nobody will know who it is, because nobody knows who Ellie Conway is.
Well, another piece of this is that Ellie Conway in the movie, in this other meta storyline, is played by Bryce Dallas Howard, who is a ginger. She has red hair. And it was pointed out that in the All Too Well short film starring Sadie Sink, another redhead, Taylor Swift is portrayed as a redhead and an author. That was another part of this. But Ellie Conway, if you see this video, reach out to us. Let us know that you're a real person. Send us proof.
It's also, I guess you could say that maybe only Taylor Swift has the power to bring redheads back from extinction. Like with the ginger side being as real as it is, maybe somebody with Taylor Swift's clout is the only one who can actually allow a redhead to be in a movie or a television show.
And it doesn't make sense that Argyle has such a huge budget, right?
No,
$200 million is crazy because the Barbie movie cost half that to make.
Oppenheimer cost $100 million.
We're asking, who's getting paid? Whose paycheck is this?
Yep.
It might be the author, and that might be Taylor Swift.
I like that theory. Well, we're going to see this movie tonight. By the time this comes out, we'll have seen it and done our review for it. But we'll have to see if there are any more Taylor Swift Easter eggs that make their way into the film.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.